Are you looking to grow revenues, increase profitability, or obtain financing? If so, you came to the right place.
Running a business is all about leadership. How do you become a better leader? Learn from the successful entrepreneurs and business owners how to lead your organization more effectively. That's why we created Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business, to help you succeed with your host, Andrew Frazier, Business Growth Pro and CFO and founder of the Small Business Pro University. Every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're joined by experienced entrepreneurs and business owners who share their secrets to success via live stream. Also, every Friday morning, we release a new podcast episode. Either way, you will learn about developing your business leadership skills from our roster of highly performing guest experts. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbprou.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Live at 8:05. This is your host, Andrew Frazier, and excited to be back here with you again this Tuesday evening. As you know, we talked to some tremendous guests and really focus on topics and themes around how you can become a better leader and run more successful small business. So this week, we're going to be focusing on something that's very important. Anyone who's ever taken training that I've done, or just in general in life, you've always heard that failing to plan is planning to fail. And we're going to talk about planning for 2022 because it's already December and you look up, it's going to be 2022 in like 5 minutes. So are you ready? Have you done what you need to make 2022 your best year ever? And that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. So our guest tonight, we're going to talk about your marketing strategy and creating a killer marketing strategy so you can hit the ground running in 2022. Our guest tonight is Debra Dixon-Anderson and from Light of Gold PR, and she's doing a lot of great things in the marketing space as well as the PR space, and really going to share some best practices and ideas and strategies that you can put to work immediately in developing your plan for being more successful in 2022. So, hey, Debra, how you doing? Welcome to Leadership. Okay, excellent. So, excited to have you here. We chatted a little bit about the topic and just really look forward to you sharing some great things with the audience. So, so welcome. Just take a few minutes and just say hello. I could say a little bit about your background, but nobody could do it better than you. So just take a couple minutes and say, okay, where you came from, what your path was and your journey, where you are now and why you are where you are now, and just, a little bit about, your path. So if you want to take a couple minutes and do that, that would be great.
Well, thank you, Andrew. And thank you so much for all the great things that you do. Just in the business community, all your wonderful events and everything, and just how you connect other business owners and business people. So thank you. And thank you for having me on your show. Hi, everybody. I'm Debra Dixon-Anderson. I am the founder and CEO of Light of Gold PR Marketing and Consulting, LLC. And I started Light of Gold PR 15 years ago this year. Can't believe it's been 15 years. Time really goes very quickly. And our services include everything from PR, press, media, and making sure we're pitching the media, but it also includes marketing strategy, marketing implementation and execution, also includes digital and social media marketing, events, website design, branding. We cover a lot of different bases, all in helping you better target your market. I have an interesting journey because my background, and my degree is in journalism and English. That's what my degree's in. And I thought that I was going to be working in TV and radio, and I do, so to speak, but kind of in a different way, not the way that I had originally intended. And so when I graduated from college, instead of going into newscasting and being on TV, I ended up working in IT and tech. It was during a time when tech was really, really hot. It was just before the internet started, and it just was a different route for me of interest. So I ended up working in tech for about 8 years. And I learned, I was part of the whole .com movement and the birth of the internet. So I'm proud to say I'm a pioneer in the internet space. And I'm really glad that I started there first, because it's also been SEO, the internet, tech has been an integral approach for how I work with a lot of my clients, is to make sure that they're covering, making sure their brand makes sense across digital channels. And so that's a big part of what we do. So ironically, I was designing websites, I was fixing computers, I was doing tech support for companies. I've worked at a lot of big corporations in their tech department. So it was an interesting start. But after 8 years, I was kind of starving to do something more creative and wanting to do a little bit more with media and with press and with new media. And so PR seemed to fit the bill for me. And so when I migrated to that space back in 2004, 2005, ironically, that was at the advent of social media, and nobody understood what it was. And so when I started working with social media and the internet, in the beginning of both of those trends, a lot of people didn't understand what it was. And I got a lot of pushback from a lot of business owners and business people as to why I was working with the internet and why I was working with social media when it started, because it was a fad, it was going to go away, it was for kids, and why was I wasting my time with it? And so I'm glad to say that I got the last laugh with that. And so a lot of our services integrate digital, social media, and tech, as well as press and marketing. And we also love new trends like virtual reality. So we help businesses host events in that space. We also like to teach businesses about new trends like Clubhouse and how to integrate that into how they market their business. And we work with small, medium-sized businesses as well as nonprofits. So that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, great. So, it's interesting how your path, everybody has a different path and a different journey. But, how your training, you went away from your training, but now you actually get back to it.
Yes.
And
full circle.
Right. And a lot of times you come back to where you started.
Absolutely.
Actually, I started with the paper route in 4th grade. And then went from that to get a degree of mechanical engineering, to serving in the Navy, to corporate, and I've been in business for myself for 12 years. So,
yes.
You learn a lot along the journey, and all that becomes part of your toolbox and how you can help.
Yes, absolutely.
So, that's excellent. So, really, we're going to talk some about planning. And when I'm talking to people about marketing, one of the key things is, one, a lot of times people don't understand that marketing and sales are not the same. So maybe take a second to say, what is marketing and what is sales, and what are the key differences?
Yes. So it's so interesting because sales is really part of marketing. It's just a piece of it. Marketing includes sales. It includes PR. It includes social media. Everything falls under marketing, and marketing is really connecting the dots with all these different ways that you get your product and your service to your target market. So it's an integral plan and strategy that kind of pulls together all these different little pieces of this puzzle. And in the completing the puzzle is really getting your product or service to your target market. And so, yeah, people get very confused with what marketing is, because marketing a lot of times is executing all of these different ways of getting your product and your service to your client. You know, whether it's a social media strategy, whether it's a press release that goes out to promote your product or service, and that culminates in you getting picked up on ABC News or NBC News or on a blog. All of that leads to you engaging your target market. It could also be an event, you know, where you're a sponsor of an event, and that event is targeted to other small businesses. That's also a form of marketing. So marketing covers a lot of terrain.
Okay, excellent. And you know, one of the key things I look at is marketing tends to be about building a relationship.
Yes.
With your market.
Yes.
And sales can be a lot more transactional.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
You know, but the better you market, the easier it is to sell.
Absolutely.
And, you know, for those of you who aren't excited about selling, if you get really good at marketing, you don't even have to sell. So that's more incentive to market. And you know, marketing is your most important job as a business owner. So now there's a lot of pieces to marketing, as you were alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be very confusing. And sometimes people mistake tools for actually what marketing is really about, and sort of focus on the tools. So where do you start when you're thinking about marketing? You know, because you know, a lot of times starting in the right place makes all the difference in the world. So where should someone start when they're thinking about their marketing? Where they're
So we know that marketing is basically like really the process of where you kind of stimulate the demand for your product or your service using all, you know, these different subsets. But what I usually like to encourage my clients to do, my customers to do, if they haven't already, is to make sure that they have a good business plan as well. And it could be a business plan that's fluid. Okay, so that maybe you might have to change after a couple of months, after 90 days of trying something, and then maybe changing it. I mean, I think gone are the days where we update our business plan like once a year or every other year. I think now we're at a time where the world is just moving so much faster. You might really have to be prepared to change your business plan every 60 days. And within that business plan, where you really outline what your products and your services are, and who your demographic, what demographic you want to target, that is also where your marketing plan is also an arm of your business plan. So making sure that's outlined. I think people make the mistake that they only need a business plan if they're going to be asking for a loan, like asking a bank for a loan or looking for investors. I wholeheartedly disagree with that, because I think a good business plan and a good marketing plan, a marketing strategy, kind of guides you and kind of keeps you on the right track from not straying from what your original goals are. I think day-to-day work, the day-to-day grind of trying to get to clients and get new accounts and get new customers, a lot of times can be distracting. And so if you're not taking a look at your marketing plan, your marketing strategy, especially if you're a solopreneur, you could really get thrown off track very quickly. So making sure you're checking that marketing plan, making sure you're staying on track with the types of clients that you want to work with, the types of services and products that you want to offer, is really, really important.
Okay. Great. Yeah, no, that's key is, you really want to start with the plan.
Yes.
Um, you know, you should always have a business plan and continue to update it as necessary. And the business plan is for you, not for your financing. So
Right.
great points. Great points. What I want to do is we're going to take a break for a real quick sec.
Okay.
We produce this through the Small Business Pro University. So we always want people to know what the Small Business Pro University is. So we've got a short video about that. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Debra, and we're really going to dig into, well, how do you develop a marketing plan and what should it look like? So stay tuned. And here's a little bit about the Small Business Pro University. Do you own your business or does it own you? Is your business growing and are you making enough money? As a business owner, there are so many things you need to know to become more successful. Hello, my name is Andrew Frazier, the Business Growth Pro and CFO. I created the Small Business Pro University for you. Small Business Pro University has self-paced, dynamic, multimedia learning experiences created by more than 20 instructors who are business owners just like you. Small Business Pro University will empower you to become a masterpreneur by learning the secrets to creating a successful enterprise, to go from working in your business to working on your business. Take advantage of our strategic coaching program or just simply choose the courses that you need. At www.sbprou.com, we will empower you to thrive and not just survive and make more money in any business environment. Okay. Welcome back to Leadership Live at 8:05. I'm here with Debra Dixon-Anderson, talking small business. We're focused on creating your killer marketing plan for 2022 so that you can really start the year off strong and make 2022 your best year ever, because that's really why we're here and that's what we want to see for you. So we started talking a little bit about the difference between marketing and sales, a little bit about marketing plan and where you should start. And, one of the things I find, and you probably find as well, is, a lot of first, as a small business owner, there's so many things you need to know that you can't possibly know that. So, a lot of times you're out there doing stuff that you may not really even understand, or you're trying to do stuff. And, because marketing is so important, it's important to understand what you're doing, because that totally drives the success of your business. But many times people are just out there winging it, with marketing and sales. They haven't sold before, but they're out there selling. They're not sure what marketing is, but, I got to have a website. I got to be on social media. And many times those are sort of tools that you use to market, but not everyone is right for what you're doing. So how do you start out and figure out what you should do? And generally I usually do it, I'm sure you do it, around developing your marketing strategy before you do anything, because that would drive what you do. So
Right.
talk a little bit about the marketing strategy, how people should approach that as a first step.
Yes. So I have had some interesting experiences working with entrepreneurs. I always like to ask the question, do they have a business plan or do they have a marketing plan? And my favorite answer is, it's all in my head. It's all up here, and that's not always the best place for all of your ideas and your strategies to be up here. And so what I sometimes like to advise a lot of my clients to do first, and usually with a little bit of guidance and coaching from me and my team, is to kind of download that brain a little bit and, pull out everything about their business, making sure they have a mission statement, making sure that they have information about what does their team look like, what kinds of products and services do they want to sell, and being very, very clear and specific about what they're selling, who their target market is. Now, if they don't know who their target market is, usually we can help them with that. But defining who that market or that client or that customer, and where are they? And being very specific about the demographics. Are they male? Are they female? Could they be either one? How old are they? You know, that's really important to know this information, because if you don't know it, it makes it harder for you to sell. If you don't know where they are they strictly online, or are they in a particular part of the country closer to where you are, local markets? Or now in this season that we're going through with COVID, oh my goodness, so much is online. So how are we interacting? So business now, engaging new customers, engaging new clients, no longer has to just be local. And it hasn't been for a while with the internet, but that's certainly changed even more and affected, you know, corporations, companies, small businesses. Everybody's been affected by it. And so pulling all of this information out of your head, getting it, you know, and you have to do what's best for you. Do you like to just go ahead and type it onto a Google Doc? Do you like to write? Some people still like using pen and paper, but getting it out of your head is really, really important. I find that becomes a problem for a lot of entrepreneurs, in particular, solopreneurs, small businesses, because everything's up here. And now now you're growing, right? Now you're growing, you're getting, you're starting to get a couple of clients, a couple of customers, and now you need help. Now you have to hire a team, but they don't have access to your mission statement if it's up here. How do you articulate it? So getting it on paper is like the first step to being able to articulate it to someone else, whether it's a marketing consultant that you're working with, whether you're now trying to get investors. All of that is where it starts, is getting it out of your head, getting it on paper. And now let's look at who's your client, who's your customer, where are they, what are their buying habits. All of this is important information as you go into a strategy. And the strategy, I have an IT background, so I kind of think in flow charts. So laying out that process is really helpful too. How do your clients get to you, and how do you actually now sign them up to become a customer? What does that process even look like? And if you don't have clients yet or customers yet, a lot of times we can put together something that might be what it could look like if they were working with you. And then when you do start signing up customers, you can go ahead and tweak those boxes of how they now engage with you.
Okay, no, great. That's important to start with that. I think one of the things that you talked about, and writing down your plan.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't a plan until you write it down.
Absolutely.
And, like you said, it allows you to communicate more effectively with others who are working with you, so they can be more effective and do a better job. But not only that, when you write it down, it makes you commit to it, and it gives you something that you can improve upon.
Yes.
Because you can look at what you said, and, you might come back a week later and say, that's not right. Let me adjust that. But if you never wrote it down, you never really
can't do that.
Thought about it. So writing it down is key. Any format's fine. I mean, I do my business in PowerPoint. So it just really depends on, it's for you. So put it in a format that works for you.
Right.
So, great point.
Andrew, I just want to bring up another point. Sometimes a business plan and a marketing strategy or a marketing plan is very intimidating. Everybody, some people think about, oh my God, is this going to be like a book that I have to write, or are you going to help me write a book? Maybe it could be just a 90-day plan, just kind of stepping out for 90 days and seeing what that can look like. But you have to start somewhere. And sometimes people really don't want to start because they're so intimidated by the entire process. But it's the process that you have to go through in order to scale your business, to get to the next level. getting it out on paper. I love what you said. If you don't put it on paper, if you don't see it or look at it, and look, it's different now. We know that it could be up on a screen, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be, in a book or on paper. It could be on a screen, in a PowerPoint, in a Google Doc, wherever it is that you decide to put it. But if you're not looking at it consistently, checking it, and look, you could put it on your calendar, to check it and see. And you might even work with a customer that you thought that you wanted to work with, and then you work with them and you realize, wow, I don't know if I want to work with this particular type of client, and so now you have to change all of that. But how do you change it if you're not checking or looking at it or reviewing it?
Right. And it's good to share it with your with your mentors and others.
Absolutely.
To get their feedback, because you're a little bit biased, so you don't even see
Yes.
all the potential, and
Yes.
you might not even see the best place where what you do fits. So having something like that allows them to be able to be more supportive of what you're doing as well. So
Yes.
so that's 100%. Now, one thing I think you alluded to, but it's very important for people to understand also that your marketing plan should be different than almost everybody else's marketing plan, because it needs to be customized to you and your business and where it is and where you're going.
Right.
So, you really have to do the work, and you shouldn't necessarily copy from anyone else.
Absolutely.
And, like you said, it can be scary, it can be daunting, but one of the things I try and do, and to help people overcome that, is, I don't know if you're familiar with the book, The One-Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I love that book because, one, it gives you an education about marketing, and most small business owners need that. But
Right.
also, it just breaks it down to the essence. And
Right.
if you can put together the things on that one page, you have a better marketing plan than most small business owners.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a way. So it's One-Page Marketing Plan by Alan Dibb.
Yes.
I don't know him. I'm not connected to him, but I love his work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, gone are the days of the 50 to 100 page business plan. I mean, it's just a different time now. So I think the more fluid it is, the shorter it is. I mean, even if your target market, maybe you're marketing your services to city agencies, for instance, right? City agencies where our company is certified as a minority women business enterprise. So we have to have a capability statement. And I remember when my company was first certified over 10 years ago, our capability statement was a lot longer back then. Well, now, and it could be because the diversity officers are also younger, they want to see this stuff in a page. Okay. So it's one page, and then throw in a couple of links that might have some video and some audio in it, to make it have some movement. Everything is different now. And so if it helps you to even record some of this, incorporate video or audio, don't be afraid of doing that. You don't have to necessarily write. So just make sure that you're open to using all the tools that can be at your disposal and that could be part of your arsenal.
Definitely. So you've been talking about target market,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody thinks they know what a target market is, but
Yes.
when I really ask them what the definition of a target market is, most of them don't really know.
Right.
So talk a little bit about what a target market is and what it should be. So when people are working on their target market, they're actually looking at the right thing.
Right. So I found that sometimes with target marketing, people sometimes also think about niche marketing, and it could incorporate targeting a niche that you really want to work with. So say, for instance, you're a designer, a clothing designer, or maybe you have a boutique, a store, and you only want to do consignment. That's a particular target market. It's also a particular niche. If you're looking at just doing consignment and maybe it's to people of certain sizes, all of those. The more that we start talking about whittling down who you're trying to get your product or your service to, now we're honing in on the target market and who you actually sell to. Same thing for services. If your services, for instance, are tailor-made for people in the creative industries, for instance, and you're selling, a widget or an app or, a tool, and you are targeting only people in creative industries like advertising, social media, that is a target market. So the closer that you get to understanding who you want to sell your product or your service to, the better it is actually to help you sell. And I remember when I started Light of Gold PR and a couple of years in, we started doing a lot more consulting. Here's another one of my favorite answers from working with consulting with small businesses. So tell me, who's your target market? Who do you want to sell to? So now everybody knows what that is, right? So I might maybe position that question a little bit differently and say, okay, so who would you like to sell your products and services to? And the answer that I've heard quite a few times has been everybody. Everybody needs my product or service. I'm just selling to everybody. Well, that may not always be the best answer or the best target market, because it is super expensive to sell to everybody. It can sometimes be pricey to sell to even niche and target markets, so there's a price point for selling to all of these different niches and target markets. But when it's everybody, that's really expensive. So it's so important to really hone in on who do you really want to sell to? And maybe it's 2 or 3 different segments of a particular market. And sometimes all of the tools that you need in your arsenal to service those particular industries, even if it's 3, can be a lot. So making sure you're understanding what your product and service is and who do you want to get to. It could be women, it could be mothers, it could be mothers of children of a certain age. All of those help to whittle down who you want to sell your product and service to, and then finding out where that particular demographic is located.
Okay, no, that's cool. You were actually much kinder and gentler than I would have been to someone who said they were going to market to everybody. That's a terrible idea.
Terrible idea. I've gotten kinder and gentler over time, but boy, that was just like, I can't even tell you how frightening that is to hear so consistently that, well, I just sell to everybody. Everybody needs what I do. And so it's like, so where do we start, with where your customer is? They're everywhere. And well, what's your budget? Well, I don't really have a budget. Well, we really have a problem. You don't have a budget and you want to sell to everybody. So, that's a problem.
Right. And, at the end of the day, and you were talking a little bit about it, the smaller your target market, the better.
Absolutely.
Because, sometimes what I do is break it down and say, okay, there's 2 pieces to your target market. Mm-hmm. First, it's you want to sell to people who are most likely to buy from you. Because why waste your time with people who aren't likely to buy from you?
Yes.
But the other side, which you talked about, is you can't target more people than you can market to effectively.
That's right.
So the size has to match up to your budget.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because marketing is about a relationship. So not only do you have to connect with them to build a relationship, you have to connect multiple times.
Yes.
So, how many people do you really have enough time, money, and resources to connect with multiple times?
Right.
And if you're a solopreneur, you really don't have a lot. So
yes. Very true.
So, so that's key. And then sometimes you turn around the other way and say, okay, well, how many customers do you really need to be successful?
Right.
And many times it's like 5.
Yeah.
So why do you
true.
need to market to 1 million people to get 5 customers?
Yeah, exactly. Because the other thing is, can you sustain working with everybody? Can you sustain working with 5 customers? Because the other part of marketing that you have to look at is customer service. What is your customer service going to look like if you now want to service all these customers and you don't even have the capacity to do that? You don't have the team, or you're a team of 1. And so just like you said, Andrew, maybe it's 5 or 5 customers at a time, or replacing 2 customers. I mean, I like smaller numbers, but not numbers where you have a client of 1. Now, basically you have a job. Okay. It's no longer, a business, and it's a very scary place to be, because if you lose that 1 client, then you have to replace 100% of your income. So it's good if you have 5, then maybe each client or customer is providing 20% of your income. If you lose 20% of your income, that's more replaceable than 100%.
So so definitely starting with the target market, who you're going after, how many people you're going after, and knowing what resources you have to go after them.
Right.
Then you can really start to put together a plan.
Right.
But,
absolutely.
But if you don't do that part first, you really are just doing stuff randomly.
Yeah, you are.
And get some results.
And you know what, Andrew, one of the things that I've heard so many times from so many small businesses is, well, I really don't want to have a niche or a specific target, because I feel like maybe I'm just like, closing myself off to other potential business that I could get. So you're just like, I always think about, I'm a little old school, right? Back in the day where you run into that person with that trench coat, and they sell everything. They have every widget, everything, right? They open it up. It's like, what you need? I got it. Do you want to be that kind of business, that you have absolutely everything, and, you're basically a jack of all trades. And so I think it's always better to kind of have a niche, to have just a few targets that you can manage and sustain, and be able to provide, great customer service to those clients. Even if it's 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, it's okay to basically focus.
Yes. Well, so definitely, focusing is key. And, one other thing is, just because someone buys from you doesn't mean they're your target market.
That's true.
So, if you have customers, just because they buy from you doesn't mean that they should be part of your target market. Of course, you still sell to them, but targeting is an active thing where you're actually spending your time, money, and resources. So you may not want to spend time, money, and resources to get them to buy from you, but definitely if they want to buy from you, it's not a bad thing as long as they're buying on the right terms.
Right. Absolutely.
So so I mean, I think that's key. So you really laying out the you have a strategy under to really put your strategy together. You have to develop your target market. From there, then you can that drives all of your other strategy.
All of your other strategies and your other marketing activities are really driven by that. Because if you decide that now you want to implement a social media plan, and I'm a techie at heart, and I love social media, but there are also other parts of your marketing strategy that you really need to focus on as well. Networking is great too. Old school networking, whether it's virtually, there's a tiny bit in person now with the rising Omicron. We don't know which way we're going to go, But here's the thing, networking and connecting with other small businesses is great, and it's important, and it is a marketing activity, and it allows you to meet other potential, not just potential customers and clients, but also potential partners. And when you get potential partners, maybe they have some of the target market that you're trying to get to, and they're already engaged. They're now officially a gatekeeper for you. They can actually now get you in front of your target market, maybe faster than you could do without them. So that's another thing to consider with your activities of marketing. Yes, understanding who your target market drives all of these activities. But I always like to look at partnering with other organizations and other people, because they also can help me get to my target market.
No, it's 100% true. And it's about relationships.
Relationships, absolutely.
You have to meet people and talk to them and connect with them.
Yes.
And there's 3 key reasons why people do business with you. So if you don't meet those 3 criteria, then it's very unlikely that they're going to do business with you.
Yes.
And my co-host who started the show with me, he always says it's KLT, and that means they have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you.
Yes.
And without that, they're not going to buy from you.
That's right.
It's about figuring out how to get the right people to know you and what you offer, to like you and want what you have to offer from you, and to trust that you can deliver what they need in the way that they need it. So that's really your goal.
Yes.
So now, as a business owner, marketing is really important. So how much time should you spend marketing?
Yeah, I think that marketing, honestly, it kind of depends on the industry you're in too, and where you are in your journey as a business owner, because you may find that earlier on when you start your business, like when you're maybe within that 1 to 3 year range, maybe you might be spending at least 50% of your time marketing, and before you can start engaging clients. And then that time will probably start to drop down as you gain clients and as you service your clients. And so what I've seen is that I've seen a lot of small businesses start out having to spend more time marketing, because they weren't getting any clients. They didn't have any clients, sometimes maybe close to 75%, because they just were not, engaged yet. They didn't know where their target market was. They're trying to figure all of that out, and they were spending a lot of time trying to get to them, and they weren't making a lot of money in the beginning. So that's the other thing. Is your business, is it a full-time business? Is it a side hustle? Is it something that you're doing on the side of having a full-time job, or maybe a part-time job or a freelance job, and you're also operating your business? So that also changes your approach, because you have even less time to devote to marketing your business. So whatever time that you have, it has to be realistic, and marketing takes time. It takes time. So the other thing to keep in mind is the time that you're spending and investing is going to depend on a couple of things. It's going to depend on how young your business is, because between year 1, 2, and 3, maybe by year 3, you'll have a certain amount of clients, or maybe within the first year, you'll have a certain amount of clients. So now the time that you spend marketing reduces a little bit. But here's a big mistake that a lot of businesses make. They get all these clients, they're super excited about it, and then they stop marketing. So say, for instance, that those 5 clients that Andrew and I talked about just a few minutes ago, that might be all you need to service. You have those 5 clients, and something happens. You lose 2 or 3 of those 5 clients. That could be like detrimental and pretty much almost close down your business, right? So why does that happen? It happens because, you know, businesses, maybe they're looking for other things. They gain new relationships. Maybe they brought on someone on their team who can now do what you do. It could be a host of issues. But what you can't do is stop marketing. You might have to change how you market because you're servicing these clients, but you still have to keep marketing because you don't know if you're going to lose some of these clients. You're going to have to start from ground zero, building more relationships, doing more outreach. Outreach can look like sending an e-newsletter. It could look like something like that. It could be attending a networking event, like at a chamber event. It could be sending out follow-up emails to that event that you went to. It could be making sure you're putting social media posts on LinkedIn or Facebook. All of those are marketing activities. They're in different sects, like in social media is one. That's part of your social media strategy. And then it could be a Google ad or something like that, but you can't not market altogether once you get all your clients. So it will change, but it should never drop down to zero.
Okay. No, that definitely, I had someone present at one of my power breakfasts, and he had a slide and he said, you know, how many customers will you keep or get if you don't spend any money on marketing? And you end up with 0 because you even have to market to your current customers to continue to build and strengthen your relationship there. And, you know, it seems like a lot, but this is the most important thing you can do for your business, and it's going to drive the success of your business. And you know, I always say you need to at least spend 2 hours a day marketing.
At least
2 hours a day. What am I going to do?
At least.
When you think about marketing, what marketing is and what it entails, you could spend 8 hours a day doing it. And depending where you are, but you, in most cases, you should be on average spending at least 2 hours a day.
Yeah, at least.
So that's key. So you know, we've covered some good stuff. Time's going pretty fast. Want to take a quick break, you know, and just share a little bit about actually any event that I do. And actually, you were at the recent Power Breakfast event.
Yes.
And
it was awesome.
So yeah, for those of you who haven't been, you definitely want to check us out. Our next one is going to be on January 28th. But if you don't know what the Power Breakfast is, here's a quick video to let you know what it is. And then I'm going to share a little bit of secret about the upcoming one. If you are looking to increase revenues, improve profitability, and or obtain financing for your business, you need to check out the Power Breakfast and Small Business Pro conferences. My name is Andrew Frazier. One of the things we're here to do is supercharge your day.
Today's Power Breakfast has really been a phenomenal experience. I think it's exactly what business owners need, some true guidance of people who are genuine and really are leading them in the true direction of business growth and expansion.
The Power Breakfast is so important for the entrepreneurial community because it gives the various business people who come together an opportunity to interact and also do some business.
These events, hosted by Andrew Frazier, President and COO of Small Business Like a Pro, will supercharge your day. Okay, great. So that's a little bit about Power Breakfast. I'm going to put a link in the chat so you can learn a little bit more and also register for the upcoming one. And just, you know, we've got our speakers set up and we're going to do a full day. So at the breakfast, we have John Kennedy, CEO of NJMEP, and outstanding leader. And he's going to speak at the breakfast. And then we have our own Precious Williams, the killer pitch master, and the power of lunch. So you don't want to miss it. So definitely hope you can check us out at the upcoming Power Breakfast, January 28th. And I'll put a link in the chat
real quick. So, Deborah, we've been talking about a lot of things, but one of the key things we're talking about planning and developing your marketing plan. And we said that the first thing you do is you get your target market. What's the next thing you do?
Right. So, I mean, I like to think the first thing that you do is like make sure you understand what your vision is, what your mission is with your business, and then understanding who you want to serve, and what kinds of clients do you want to serve. It's such an important piece to understand what your mission is and what you're about, but also who do you want to serve? Who do you want your customers to be? It could be a corporation, it could be a company, or it could be a consumer. It doesn't, or professionals. So understanding who your target market is really important, and then all of that will drive the activities. After that, whether it's traditional activities like making phone calls and doing cold calls or sales calls. A lot of the calls we do, we try to make sure they're warm calls, because when you build relationships, it doesn't feel like you're actually selling. It's more of a soft sell, because they're based on relationships. It could be also your social media strategy. It could be press. We always like to tell small businesses not to sleep on traditional press, because it's still relevant. A lot of media outlets have had to reinvent themselves across all social media channels, across their website. Gone are the days that you sit and, waiting for the news to come on at 6. Now we consume so much of our content on our devices, on our phones and everything, but still engaging traditional media outlets is still important. So I always like to kind of put a plug in for that, because a lot of our clients don't ask for that as much, but it's still really important and it still works. I was recently on a Fox 5 piece about the Facebook power outage. And so that ran, right, during the news and everything. And it's something, the shelf life of press, whether it's covered by a media outlet, or whether you're featured on a blog, or whether you're featured on a wonderful show like Andrew's, it has a shelf life, and it could be repurposed in a video, and it's something that you can incorporate into news on your website. But all of your activities, once you define who your target market is, what really is part of the strategy is how you now are going to execute getting to that target market. So that's really important to keep in mind. All of that drives the activity, whether it's social media activity, whether it's follow-up calls, whether it's organizations that you decide to join, whether it's connected to your industry, or whether it's connected to you meeting other entrepreneurs and small businesses like yourself. All of that is driven by what your mission is and who you want to serve. And who you want to serve would comprise your target market.
Okay, excellent. So that's really, really key. We've got some great interaction from the audience and comments, and one from Leon who already picked up the one-page marketing plan.
I see that.
Excellent. And it's important to continue to learn always. And if you haven't, I'm going to put in the chat, I actually put together a recommended reading page that includes the one-page marketing plan, includes the E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Yes.
Includes Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, because those are 3 key books that every business owner should read.
Absolutely.
It also has my book, Running Your Small Business Like a Pro, and my new one, The Masterpreneur Playbook. So this is a good time during the holidays to learn some new things and do some reading. So definitely invite you to check those out.
All of everything on there is well worthwhile. So encourage you to do that. So, an hour goes really fast.
Really
So
fast.
we're getting really close. So what I like to ask our guests to do is really take a minute and maybe give us 3 things that people should take away in terms of what they can use within their business based on what we discussed. So if there's 3 things you want people to get
Joe.
um, let us know. And definitely, Joe, you're right. Debra is.
Thank you, Joe. You never know who's watching, right?
You never know. And
Never know.
You already have my book. Cool. So, so Debra, you want to take a second? Give us 3 key things.
Well, I would love to. I love going back to, making sure everybody is very much honing into what their vision and mission is, for their business, because it's one of those things that drives you. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, my mission, my purpose, my vision is what gets me up every morning. So if you don't define what those are, even in the dark days, the days where it's like, oh my God, I'm not getting any business, the vision, mission, and purpose will drive you to get up, to keep going. And that is not necessarily always defined by what's in your bank account or who's on your client list. So always remember that, that will keep you going. Another tip is not to be afraid of taking your business globally, looking at scaling your business to $1 million, multi-million-dollar level. Don't be afraid of that. I think sometimes we play small and we just, decide, hey, I just want to, make sure I make enough money to feed my family and take care of my bills. And there's nothing wrong with wanting those things, because we all want to have sustainable businesses. But if you dream, a little bit bigger and look at things just differently, what that dream can look like, don't be afraid of dreaming big. I recently did a business trip going to Spain, which was just mind blowing to be able to connect with different markets and looking at bringing Light of Gold PR to a global level. But I had to push away fear, being afraid of going someplace where, Spanish is not my first language, but how many immigrants come to this country where English is not their first language, and they come here and they just do so well. And I felt like I was kind of stepping into their shoes a little bit and understanding what that was like. So don't be afraid of going to the next level, being able to take your business globally. It's just important to dream and not being afraid of stepping outside of your own comfort zone. And I try to do something that scares me at least once a week. Sometimes maybe once a month, but definitely, every other week I do something that, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing, but let me go ahead and try it. And then I'm always pleasantly surprised. So, do something that scares you a little bit, that maybe you just think, I can't do this. I can't possibly do this. And you might be really pleasantly surprised. And then lastly, I love, love, love automation. And so being able to automate your business, whether you're using a CRM, a customer relationship tool, to be able to connect to people that you've met, or to be able to help you with your outreach, any systems that can be incorporated to help you work leaner and meaner, I think it's really, really important to incorporate automation into how you run your business, especially if you're a solopreneur or a small business.
No, those were outstanding. I couldn't have said it better. Had a conversation today with someone about,
I probably use at least 20 online platforms to automate things that I do. And,
Yeah.
I have to do that as a small business
Have
owner.
to.
So, so definitely that. And actually, we should have a show where we go over some of those because, a lot of times, I've learned them from different people and different things, but there's some key ones that every business owner should be using. So, we'll do that for upcoming show as well. Not playing small, and
We'll play small.
Most businesses, they have low or no growth because they don't plan for any growth.
Yes.
So, if I'm working with someone, if you're under $100,000 in revenue, you need to be over $100,000 in revenue.
Yes.
And if you're a small business under $250,000, there's no reason why you cannot grow by 100%. It is possible for you to grow by 100% in a year.
Yes, it is possible. Absolutely. And I think we have to stop playing small and just know that we can scale our businesses and dream bigger, dream bigger, and it's okay to do that. I think a lot of times we get afraid of that, but a lot of times we have to just push that fear aside and just dream bigger.
Right. And it also goes back to what we started with is failing to plan is planning to fail, because that stuff's not going to happen if you don't put together a plan to make it happen.
Yes.
Because, they say like a goal without a plan is just a wish.
It's just a wish.
Are you wishing for success or do you want success?
Exactly. And we want success. So I loved always saying that. Thank you, Diane. Oh, I love these comments. Thank you. I feel so encouraged. Thank you so much. But it's just failing to plan is planning to fail. I've been saying that for years. I hate that I didn't coin that, but I didn't. But
it's all of both of us put together.
Absolutely.
but it's true. So excellent. So this has been great. Loved having you on.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
But thank you, and excited about all the great things you're doing, and the great things that you've imparted, and hopefully those will help other people be able to have greater success this coming year as well. So excellent. Thanks. Hang on for a sec, and we'll just close out real quick. So first, appreciate everybody, all your comments, questions as you have them. We like to make it interactive and make it as valuable as possible. Thanks, Karen, out of Pittsburgh's in the house. Thanks, Maria. So definitely, hopefully this was valuable. Look forward to an upcoming show next week. Also, many of you may have seen, but you may not have, I launched the Small Business Pro certification through the Small Business Pro University, something that you may want to check out. We just launched our first class, so we're going to be setting it up, going forward, and have a new session at the beginning of the coming year. So definitely invite you to check it out, learn a little bit more. Here's a link to where you can learn a little bit more about it. And it's really a 3-month program that teaches you the key things you need to know as a business owner, whether you're in business already and there's probably a lot of things that you need to know, or whether you're not quite in business yet, but you can learn a lot of things that can help you get have greater success sooner, and even more importantly, keep you from doing things you shouldn't be doing and losing money, because the more you know, the faster you're able to grow. So thank you again, and take care. Look forward to catching you next week, and I will talk to you then.
Thank you for listening to Leadership Live at 8:05, Talking Small Business. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Leadership Live is one of the many valuable resources provided through the Small Business Pro University, empowering business owners to learn, profit, and grow. Find out more at sbpro.u.com.